Alright, you bastards. We're going to talk about something I already did a video about, but this is more like an update because it's going to be about my EDC bag. Like you can see, this is one of those shoulder bags, and what I like to do is regularly like to take inventory of it, of things that might be expired, to know the layout of it, and to see that everything is it what I need, or change it up to the season, because in winter you will need other things than in like summertime, and yeah, now call it a spring cleaning to say. So, what did I change about my EDC bag? Well, let's see. Yet again, I already put the how do you say this, the Red Cross sign on it, so people know that I can help. Like I said in the previous video about this subject, somebody saw me with my bag who was wounded, and I could stabilize them because his hand was cut open by a sword, he claimed, and that way he could get to the hospital after I dressed his wounds. I also put my blood type on it in case I get a car accident. O negative. The same thing goes for my dog tag that I always carry, where is the same thing on it with O negative blood type in case I get an accident and I need to get a blood transfusion. What I also like to put on my EDC bag is some how do you call this, carabiners? Yeah, you know what these are, these things that clip open. I found this very handy to attach something in the quick with some rope, or when I'm walking with my girlfriend with her dogs, I can just clip one of the dogs to my side, and I have my hands free, or I can just tie them with the clip with the carabiner hook onto a tree, and for so they are stationary. So that's also a handy thing for it. The same thing goes for if you want to buckle yourself up during a train accident, or as an improvised seatbelt to say. So that's something else you can do. Uh, Next thing, we're going from out to in. So this thing, it is just a small tube. That is my sewing kit. Why do I put this on the outside? Well, because it fits right into this, and it does not appear that much into the eye. So, yep, that's just for shits and giggles. This is what I always carry. Always carry water. That is very, very important. And yeah, I prefer this kind of German type canteen. Why? Because whenever I'm going somewhere, I do not only I will not only drink water, but sometimes I prefer a cup of tea when I have to wait somewhere or when I can relax somewhere, and then that way I can just take this and use this to boil the tea. It's a three-parter, so that is the underneath side of it. I always keep a plastic bag in it. Why? First of all, a plastic bag can always be handy. Second, it's for when the dogs of my girlfriend take a shit and you have to pick it up. That way, I always have a bag to pick it up. Second, third, whenever this is inside of it and you close it off without something beneath it, you will always hear it rattle. But with the plastic bag beneath it, you will not hear it that much anymore. As you can see, that's very much less than it would be without the one. So always keep water in your EDC bag, whether it's a plastic bottle of metal canteen, field canteen like this. Always keep water in it, because you never know when you're in a long traffic stop in a hot summer day, and yeah, you can dry out in extreme temperatures really, really fast. Or to help people with how do I say this, with cooling off burning wounds, or during a riot where there is tear gas, you can spill get stuff out of your eyes. The same thing goes for industrial accident where there is some chemical spatters flow into your face, and you can try to how do you say this, um, flush the chemicals out of your eyes. So that's very important. And yet again, also for some when somebody is it's too hot during a summer day, I need to cool off on the outside. I always keep the things that I need most outside. That is just one of those small survival tools. You can do 10 things with this: compass, magnifying glass, and a mirror. Those are the things that I usually use it for. There is also a fire starter on this, a fishing hook, a little lamp, and some temperature meters. So yeah, not all that necessarily, but always handy to have. I always keep a lighter back to hand, close to hand. Why? Yeah, a lot of people I know smoke, so why not help them quicker into the grave? But for seriously, this could always be handy for to make a quick light when you're in somewhere. If you can see, I always put some tape around the lighter in case. Yeah, just to have some tape quickly by hand or to save space. It's not that it does not do that much, but it's just a little handy trick. Next thing, these are all in the side pouch, by the way. Emergency blanket, yeah, in case somebody is going in when somebody has hypothermia, or as a makeshift shelter or sleeping bag when you need to wait somewhere where it's cold. Or yeah, like I waited for a taxi once and he did not show up during a winter day, and that was very very annoying. If I did not had this, um, I always keep in the bag here some gloves, some latex gloves at hands. It's not the most practical way, but it's the fastest in case there is a sudden accident and you need to treat a wounded person. But yeah, treating a wounded person, you do not want to have blood on your hands when there is a small cut on your finger. So that always be a safety before everything. So don't forget that. We're going to now to the inner parts. Yeah, let's go from back to front. Here in the back, there is another pouch. What do I have here? Some Israeli bandages, which is between a tourniquet and a pressure bandage. So always have one of these in your EDC bag. This could save yourself or other people's life. Yeah, I would say search this up and order one, because yeah, this could be a lifesaver. Next thing, just some paper handkerchiefs. Why? Yeah, because sometimes when you go to a public toilet, there is no toilet paper, and you need to wipe that number 2 off. Or when somebody has to sneeze, or you make a splatter onto your shirt or on the table of somebody who is very clean, you can just clean it up with this. Always handy to have some paper towels with you. What's next? Zip wire in case you need to do some quick repairs by fixing something to each other, like when there is something loose in the front of your under the hood of your car. That way you can make a makeshift repair to it. Or in case when there is somebody being a dick and you need to restrain them, it could be a criminal, somebody who has done a crime, and you need to apprehend them before the police show up and restrain them. So with this you can easily do it. Oh, by the way, look up my video about how to escape from these, in case unless you're one of those criminals, by the way. Next thing, just another paper plastic bag, always handy for the poop of the dogs. A tourniquet. Yeah, I always keep one on hand, in my bag. Why? Because sometimes a bleeding is severe during a car accident, that you might need to help somebody who is bleeding very profusely. So a tourniquet can never hurt unless you leave it on too long. A little bit of dark humor. This is a little pouch with some trinkets in it. Looks like the zip tie it's a little bit too long in it. So why do I keep in these? I always keep a lockpick in it, in case somebody at my work forgot to put keys out of their locker before closing it. Happened a few times, so I could I could open their locker for them, get their keys, and that saved them some money from buying a new lock. Another thing is a fire starter, like a striker steel, some super glue in case you need to close off a wound or need to do some quick repair fixing, a little bit of the small duct tape, a few matches, and some tools. You will see this will fit on your silica key, which we'll see in a minute. But these are several kind of tools to do some small repairs with that you need. Some safety pins, always handy to close off when you have a hole in your clothes by tearing it open by some reason. Could always happen, and you do not want to be embarrassed. I will need to do something about this zip tie because. Alright, we're going now to the middle. The shamak. Yeah, the shamak. I have made a video that says 55 survival uses for a shamak. I would say look them up because there you can do at least 55 survival things about this. I usually use it to keep warm, or in case there is some smoke or something else I need to protect my breathing from. And usually this is my bag when I go to the supermarket, or I need to carry some more little trinkets into the same thing. So as you can see, this now I knotted these two things together, and now it's a makeshift bag to carry stuff. I would say look up my video about 55 survival uses for a shamak, and you will see what's all the things you can do with this. Next thing, this is just my little first aid kit. There are several things in it: bandages, stickers, honey. Why honey? Because honey. I would say look at my video about all the things you can do with honey. Very interesting. Many medical things you can do with it. Like it's antibacterial. You can give it to somebody who has some diabetes problem with low blood sugar or something. Yeah, and it tastes good with the tea that you can make with the canteen. Bandages. I always keep some caffeine pills in it. Why? Because sometimes I need to do some overwork and I need to stay awake a longer time. So I would not advise to use this long time, but it can help in an emergency situations. Some gouges, some batteries, some how do you say this? Purification tablets to clean water. Some medication like against the headache. How do you call this? Aspirin, and iodium tablets in case of a nuclear attack. Some extra latex gloves. Tampon, always handy, not only when that special little lady of yours has the time of their month in an emergency situation, like when you're on a restaurant or something, but also for some other medical appliances, like for deep stabbing or gunshot wounds. Look it up my video about the tampon, but I would say, to get more information. And some pills with some capsules with activated charcoal. You can do a makeshift filter with these, or you can use it on somebody who has taken in some toxic elements, and you need to slow it down inside of their system so they can be brought to a hospital before the toxic compound has gone into their system. So this will help slow it down. And for the rest, some bandages. Not that much. Oh, by the way, I forgotten to put one thing in it, and that's coconut oil in case, like now in the summer, I go walk somewhere, and the sun is very bright, and I need some sunscreen. So with the coconut oil, I can rub myself in, and that's a protection against the sun. I would say look up my video about coconut oil. Yeah, I made some other videos about this stuff, so I would say look it up. This is just one of those how do you say this? These holders for salt. herbs and sugar in case I want to do something with my tea, or in case somebody has some dehydration and you can mix this with the salt with the water to fill up their electrolytes inside of their body that they lost by profusely sweating. So that's also handy for it. And yeah, for in when you're in a restaurant or a snack bar and there is no salt, always handy. And some herbs to make things taste a little bit nice. uh what's next? I always keep an emergency ration in case I forgot my lunch or I don't have money to buy some, how do you say this, to buy new lunch or something else I need a full meal for. So this has some 2375 calories. It's very handy. It's in a very protective layer of foliage. Folie, I think, is the name, I think. And it's in several pieces, so you can break it off and eat it raw. What you also can do is, in case a young infant needs some nourishment and there is no baby food around, you can crumble this, mix it with water, and feed it like porridge to a little baby, and that's the same thing as like you can see. Next one is a little iron tin. I prefer to use iron than plastic. Why? Because now I can do some emergency baking or use it as a reflective in case of in case I will never have to use it. So what do I have here? Things that need to stay dry. So like these wet towels. That's kind of ironic. My USB stick with some personal information in case I lost my bag and somebody can look my identification with this on, or I need to flee somewhere and I lost my identification papers. That way I have to taken some pictures of those papers and I can show them to the police or to some of government officials when I need it. Some earplugs, because sometimes when you need to sleep somewhere, like waiting on in the station, it could be a little bit loud and noisy, especially if you have to wait a few hours, or if you at a place where there's a lot of noise, like you crash at a friend's and there is a party next door going on, or some things like that. You're at a festival and you need to sleep in your tent, but there is too much noise. Earplugs are always handy. Or just when there is a disaster, there could be a lot of yelling, screaming, noise, ambulances, and to some people, it's kind of keeping them from keeping a cool head. So earplugs are good for that. Um, a lock. Why a lock? Because I'm the sort of guy who, when he's going out with a bike and forget to take his lock to put a bike on lock, I always have at least a lock with me to close it off, or in case I need to close off a door or something else in case of a spree killing or something. Yeah, the chances are small, but I've used the lock a few times. So a lock with the key, don't forget that, especially a little uh, tea light candle, always handy. I keep it always in a protective little box with together with aluminium folie. So that could also be handy to reflect something or to reflect a little bit heat or to make more lighting, so you can have more benefits from the tea light. And of course some matches. These matches are actually the kind of matches that you can strike on at any rough surface and it will ignite the matches. So in case the carton is wet or you lost your striker strip, so that's something that could always happen. Next, this is a little German army emergency cooker. When I need to make some tea, I can just take this and put this screw the lid open, put this on, and put the little piece of the canteen over it and make some tea and drink from it or cook something from it. It's always handy, and I can refill it with some burning gel after each time of use. But to be honest, I always keep it in a plastic bag just in case the lid is not screwing up right anymore because of the heat or it's still warm. Just in case that I do not get a bag full of burning gel beneath it. So always keep this in a protective layer, I would say, just to be sure in case. Next thing, some alcohol. Why? just like in the last video, sometimes I just like a drink. And this could be something handy so to bond with some other persons, or when you have to celebrate something, it could be like a victory drink, or to, in the worst case scenario, disinfect wounds, because this is strong stuff. It is gin, but gin that is 15 years old. How do you call it? Straw gin, I think is the English name. And this thing will get stronger by each year. And this, what's inside of this, is 15 years old. So it's very, very strong, but also very, very tasty and gives a good kick. And you can also start a fire with this even, just in case you need to make a fire very quick, like when somebody has gone through the fallen through the ice or get wet in the winter, and that could be a very big problem if you do not get a fire that directly started for hypothermia. So some alcohol never hurts. Some alcohol, by the way. Yeah, this one is empty. Oh, there's still a front I forgotten about. The front is just something with a little mint. These mints have some benefits, like a little bit of energy, something to cover the if you have a bad breath, smell of your breath, and for somebody who has diabetes or something, and in case of coughing. So this serves little mint serves multiple functions. So now we're going to the front flap. What do we get here? These are things that I want to be a little bit hidden, but I want to take them directly when I can without looking. Of course, my trusty multi-tool. You always need a multi-tool. There are so many things you can do with this, so never forget a multi-tool in your EDC bag. This thing will be like a little repair box inside of your hand palm. This is my improvised pepper spray, just in case I have some trouble with some tugs. I never had to use it before, but it's always fun to know. But what I do with this is, this is on a bottle that says hand gel, like the gel that you use to clean your hands with. So in case the police will or security guards will will look at my bag and they will see red hand gel, and that way they will let me through without any problems. So how you can use this is, you fill this up with alcohol, piments, Tabasco, and some other nice stuff. You open it up, you squeeze, and you can, to 5 meters, squirt it in someone's face, run away without any of the both parties severely hurt. So always try to evade conflict, I would say. Tea and some chocolate milk powder, always handy, always nice and relaxed in case you want to have a cup of tea. Always handy, especially with a little emergency cooker and the metal canteen. So that's another thing I want to mention about the canteen. Never use plastic bottles. I always, even though it weighs more, use metal. Why? Because so I can cook it without even it melting. So I like to use things in my EDC bag that are multifunctional. Right, we're going to the next thing. It is a bunker candle. I always keep it in plastic in case of I have to use the candle, and after I'm done with it, it could still be a little bit soft or melting. So I wrap it into this plastic, and it will not get into my bag, and I can protect it from water. So yeah, a bunker candle will. Why a bunker candle? A bunker candle can burn for a very long time. This thing can burn for 12 hours. This small candle, so that's very good. Right, next, just a pencil with an eraser on it, just in case you have to write something on. And yeah, we all know when we need a pen, it will not work. A pencil, a pencil always works, and a pen can get empty or it can work not. So I prefer the pencil above the pen. Next thing, some burning gel in case of when somebody get burned, and you can, after cooling the burning wound, you can rub this over it to protect it from infections till they can get to a professional medical person. So yeah, always keep one of these in your EDC bag. Next, just a flashlight. This is, yeah, I do not prefer the ones with the batteries, but to be honest, yeah, I yeah I had some good use with this, and this model has not failed me yet with the batteries, so that's kind of handy. This has some several ways to light, from a close up wide to, if you shove it up like this, it will be very small and very accurate with it. So that's very handy. Like you can see, you can adjust it, and it has some functions like this. This will blind somebody who's trying to attack you a little bit or disorientate them. So you can imagine that somebody is gonna you somebody is aggressive at you, and this you will see this. That's not very nice for him, and it will give you an edge inside of a fight. So this is an SOS signal, also very handy. And yeah, the top has some rips on it, so you can bash through a window with it. Very handy, as long as the batteries work. You know how I am with batteries. Some alcohol gel, not alcohol gel, disinfectant alcohol for wounds, or to make a fire. This is one of the alcohol that I made myself. So yeah, it's actually kind of drinkable if you mix it together with with something else. You cannot drink this pure because that's too high for that. But yeah, for medical reasons, I always keep some extra with it. Now we have, bloody hell. Good job, bastard. Yeah, this one has some trouble with getting out. Put it like this. This is a water filter. You know, the kind of filter that live straw. You just put it into water, and you take this off, and you suck it out, and it will be filtered. Could always be handy in a natural disaster, or some other way to get some water. I would I've forgotten to put a bag in it that will fit on it, or you can shove this screw this onto a water bottle and get that way you can squeeze in it to push the water through the filter into something like this, the Canteen. So yeah, a water filter is always handy. But for just to be sure, I always keep some purification tablets inside of my first aid kit. So yeah, just to be sure, a map. Like with the cell phone, I always struggle with the GPS, but a map never failed me. So just when I get lost, I can always find my way through the whole of Belgium. So yeah, could always be handy in case the internet or some other electronic way is failing. What do we have here? I think I forgot something. So this is an emergency rain poncho. This is just in case I get caught by the rain by surprise and I don't want to get wet or my bag to get wet. So yeah, it's very cheap and it's very small, and it could also be used as a makeshift shelter in case you need to sleep somewhere where it's very moisty. And yeah, always handy. I think that's it. I thought I had some. Oh, I thought already. These were the Silco key. The Silco key is very handy because you saw those in my pouch, the little tools. You can shove them on this and try to use several kind of screws, like cross screws, minus screws, torque screws, and all those other things that you can, and use it to open it. And it has several ways to, how do you say this, to open electric closets, water faucets. So in a urban environment, you can use this to, how do you say this, to open certain locked lockers, faucets, or water taps. So that's a very handy thing about the Silco key. I already made a video about it, so I would say look it up. And I thought, here it is. I forgot it. I always keep some cash inside of bucket, my how do you say this? My EDC bag. So always two ways. In my first aid kits, I always keep some paper money. Just I need to like when my credit card is not working in the supermarket, so I always have enough for some small errands that I need to pay, but I don't have some other way to pay for it, and some how do you say this? Nickel? No, not nickel. Like money that is in penny form. So in case you need to pay to in emergency situation get something out of a automatic machine like those like drinking automats or something for food. So that could always be handy, or for if there is some payphone around. I don't know if those still exist around. So, but it can always be handy to have those. And yeah, I think yep, this is everything that is inside of it. So like you can see, like you saw, this was the updated version of my EDC bag. I always keep it with me, and yeah, I always make sure that wherever I go, the bag is at least close by enough, whether it's with me or in the car on the parking lot while I'm at work or somewhere else. Doesn't matter. The bag where I go, the bag will go, and it helped me a lot through a lot of situations. So yeah, so this was just an update. I would say subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Share this video. Give a like. Give if you have another tip about something that I've forgotten or I can put with it in it, or I have another use, multifunctional use with one of the items that I probably forgot or something. Leave it in the comments. So yeah, this was just a revisal of the updated revisal of the EDC bag. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Cheers!